Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Rich Maloney, the head baseball coach at Ball State. How's it going?
Going good. Thanks, man. We're excited for the season.
So I know practices have been underway for a few weeks, but how have they been going? Have you learned anything about your team? What are some of the things that you can take away as we are now just a few weeks away from the season starting?
Yeah, the guys are working really hard. We had a really good fall with the interesting landscape of NCAA athletics. Each team is having 15 to 20 new players every year. And that's always an interesting challenge to see how your team meshes because when you got everybody pulling the same direction, you have a chance to do some special things. And interestingly, this group right from the beginning meshed extremely well. We're getting strong leadership. Guys are all pulling the same direction. We got a talented group. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what these guys might do. Practice is going well. The guys worked hard in strength training, did well academically, had a 3.36 semester collectively, which continues our outstanding success in the classroom. And we expect to be in the hunt for a chance in the Mid-American Conference to, win a title.
So going into this year, before we talk about the conference, let's go through the players on your team. Some of the names to watch out for and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, well, first of all, Keegan Johnson is a left-handed pitcher from Maryland who was the freshman pitcher of the year in the league last year. We really think Keegan's a talented young man and certainly one of the leaders on our staff. It's great having somebody like that, uh, at the top of your staff. You got Jacob Hartleb's a senior, who's battled some not arm injuries, but just different kind of things that have affected his development. But this summer he was thrown up to 99. And in the fall, he was 93, 96, a lot of 96s. And we're hoping he has a breakout year because he's got a great arm. He's a great kid. But he hasn't put it all together yet at Ball State. We're hoping this is the year because that would give us two frontliners that would really be a separator for our team. We've got Drew Young's a transfer from Indiana Wesleyan. He's pitched a lot of innings in his career. He's got 1 year left, and he's a pit bull, throwing 90, 93 with some good stuff. So we think he can help us. Garrett Harker's bounced around a few different places. We've wanted him for three different times. We tried to recruit him out of high school. He went into the portal. We tried to recruit him out of the portal. We didn't get him. Goes back in the portal. We tried to get him, and we finally got him. And we actually think he could be a big part of our. He's got electric arm, a great breaking ball, and he is very mature. Really needs to have an impact on us if we're going to be a real successful team. So we really like him. Evan Shapiro's a guy who transferred from Kent, who has a huge upside. Just yesterday at the end of the thing, he was 94 miles an hour. We think at some point in the year, he'll probably be 95, 96. He's a big kid. Now, whether he can put it all together, we believe he can. Just a matter of him doing it. So we got a few wild cards. We got a lot of guys that we feel like we got a lot of pitching depth. But again, we got a lot of unknowns. Guys have to do it, but we think we got the talent to have a good staff. From an offensive standpoint, Blake Beavis has been a starter for us 2 years. He's had 11 home runs and then last year 12 home runs. We think he can hit 20. So we're excited about him. Dylan Grego's going to get a chance to be our everyday shortstop, and he's been playing really well. He gained 23 pounds in the summer, really worked his tail off. And he's a different player right now. So we really need him to elevate his game, and we think he can. So that's a positive. Alex Richter is a transfer from Marietta, as is Ty Davis. And both of those guys are very physical and really good players. One cat Ty plays catcher, first base, outfield. Um, and Alex is going to play third base. But both those guys are outstanding. We got and Clay Jacobs is returning for a fifth year. He's getting his master's degree, and he kind of broke out last year in a good way. So we got an experienced guy in the outfield. He'll probably play right field for us. Beavis will probably play left field. And then our center fielder is interesting because he runs a 6'3" 60, Gavin Balius. And he's really been playing well. Um, so we think we're going to have a really potent offensive lineup. Pretty fearsome if you think about Beavis being sandwiched in between Richter and Ty Davis, three physical monsters that could hit it out at any time. So that's kind of late. I think we'll play good defense. I think we should pitch well, and I think we got a lineup that's pretty good. So that if you have those three factors, you should have a chance to be competitive in your league.
Yeah, and of course, let's talk about the league. Of course, the MAC conference. What's the outlook for the conference this year? I mean, I know you did. I know you guys did fairly well. Western had a good year. Bowling Green took the conference, and just a few short years ago, that program was gone. Then it came back, and now it's back and better than ever. So, what is this conference going to look like this year?
Well, last 4 years we've been in the tournament championship game, and we're averaging 35 wins a season over the last 5 years. So we've been fortunate enough to be very consistent and be near the top every year. Um, Kyle did a great job at Bowling Green. He did an outstanding job and had a great season last year. And Billy won the tournament championship, did a great job. So, of course, it's funny because most of the time it's been Ball State, Kent, and Central for a lot of years. And then you get somebody else who pops in there. Rob's done a good job at Toledo, and he's been really close. Uh, so they're highly competitive. And then you got Brian Smiley over at Miami, did a great job last year and got that program back. And he was at Indiana State. He's a very successful coach. So they got a good thing rolling over there. So I think, as always, you're going to have Ken will be good, without question. Kyle's doing a great job at Bowling Green. Billy's doing solid at Western. And then you got certainly Smiley is an outstanding coach. And that's amongst others. So you don't know who else is going to rise up through in any given year. But the most consistent ones, Kent, Ball State, and Central over time. Um, so, hard to say. I kind of stay in my own lane, and what I mean by that is if you pick up the ball, you throw strikes, you make the routine play routinely, you get some timely hits, you have a chance to win every time you play. And
Absolutely.
we pride ourselves on being consistent, and we've been able to do that for a long, long period of time. We've won 30 games in all 18 years that I've been at Ball State, at least 30 games. And, so we're taking a lot of pride in being a consistent team.
Yeah. So let's talk about the non-conference schedule you put together. You're going down to Charleston, playing some teams down there. Sacramento, Jacksonville, down to Florida before you start conference play. The non-conference slate you put together. Tell us about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, we always go to the shipyard. One of my former players and one of my former assistant coaches I was at Michigan, Jason Murray, he runs the shipyard. It's a beautiful place to play. We don't call it the Ball State Invitational, but it's kind of like it because we go there every year. We're the only team that does that. So, and they take great care of us. That's a good start. And we're going to play UAB, where Casey Dunn's the coach. He's outstanding. Been a friend for a long time. He used to be at Samford, had a great career there. He had a good season with UAB last year. He's built that program, so that'll be a tough game. We got Maryland. Um, and Matt Tyner's over at Towson. Matt and I go a long way back when he was at Butler. So, and then we got UMass Lowell. I don't know much about their team right now, but that'll be the start of our season in a great venue. And then we go to Sac State, where they've had a very successful program. Reggie running leading the helm over there. We've never been there, so it'll be a new trip for us. But we got 6 kids in this new NCAA world that are from California, which is just weird how it played out. It wasn't like we targeted it; just happened that way. And then we go to play North Florida in Jacksonville. Um, and the Florida teams are always good. And then we got Florida A&M, who often wins their league or wins the tournament. Uh, Jamie Shoup over there is a good friend, and so they do a good job over there. And then we start MAC. Now, the other non-conference that's significant is we play Xavier in a 3-game series, and Xavier's our RPI since 2021 averages 72, and theirs is, I think, 52. So to be a matchup from 2 good mid-majors that aren't too far away, that really haven't played each other. So they're very well coached, and it'll be a tough series, but we'll look forward to that. And we got IU a couple times, Purdue a couple times in our mix. So it'll be a good schedule. We're going to play IU at Victory Field, which is going to be nice, and have a chance to have a big crowd. So anyway, we're excited for the chance to compete, man. We can't wait to get going. We got to get this weather to break so we get outside and start having some fun.
Yeah, it should warm up around here. I mean, it's been last few days has been negative, like almost in negative temperatures yesterday across the Midwest. So
Yeah.
um so next few weeks, of course, you have I know there's a lot beforehand that you're going to have before the season starts. But also a couple of big events that you have coming up. Of course, the you got the first pitch dinner and the youth hitting clinic coming up.
Yeah, yeah. We have both of those are on February 1st. So in the morning, we're doing our whole team run a youth camp, and typically we get about 100 kids come to it. It's a great opportunity for the young people in our community to be able to mingle with the team. And then we have a free autograph session in the evening over before our first pitch dinner, where our guys have posters that they give away to the young kids, and another chance for them to interact. And then we have the dinner, and we're having John Kessick, who is an outstanding player for me the first time I was here at Ball State in my first stint. He was a 3rd-round draft pick from the Orioles, and he is the CEO of Pro Trade Steel company. And he's coming back to speak at our dinner, which will be nice. Yeah, and it's really kind of like at that moment when that evening's over, it's kind of like now you can start really seeing the light to play the season starting. So we're getting close, and we're very excited to compete against somebody else, see where you stand, and see how much what areas you got to get better in, and trying to have another successful season.
All right. Rich Maloney, thank you so much for taking the time, and best of luck to you guys this season.
Thanks, Casey. Keep up the good work.